Hi friends, welcome back, welcome to Living on the Hedge. Behind me, you guessed it right, this is the newest Star of the Seas. The newest, the biggest addition to the Royal Caribbean fleet, and in general, she is, as of right now, the biggest ship in the world. This time I'm spending 7 nights on this ship, and I'm staying in one of the, let's say, more affordable categories on this ship, which is the ocean view balcony. So of course, we will talk a lot towards the end of this video about everything you need to know, everything you need to pre-book, things you probably should look for, and perhaps way to have you some extra money for your next vacation. But yes, sit comfortable, relax, grab something nice to snack on. Let's begin. Home away from home. Welcome friends. This is the balcony ocean view on board a brand new Star of the Seas. Let's turn around, see how the space looks like. Not bad. Let's begin, of course, with the entrance to this room. I will show you where we are located. This is room number 12174. It is located on deck number 12. Relatively in the front. I'm not sure if with the reflection you can see, but it's right here where the dot is. Very close to the front stack of the elevators. If you can see, the elevators are right here and the room is right there. So yeah, this is very close, but enough with the map. Let's turn around and see everything the room has to offer. First of all, as you can notice, this room is arranged when the sofa is closer to the entrance and the bed is pushed further towards the balcony. I personally prefer the rooms to be this way, simply because when you open the doors, you can see you have a little bit more space right here to walk around, to hang, you know, just kind of like pushing the back towards the back and makes it a little bit more private. But of course, we have in this room the sofa. I will say it's a little bit on the firmer side, but it's also a sleeper bed, just for one person. And it's kind of firm but comfortable. I enjoyed it so far. We have, of course, some wall art, but right across from the sofa, we have this desk. And it's a desk which combines the desk and the storage and a space to get ready or work, anything you might need. We have quite a few shelves right there. We'll not go through all of them, but we have 3 shelves right here, 1, 2, 3 on the top. They're kind of like on the more shallow side. You will also find your hairdryer right there, some napkins, and on the other side right here, they will leave for you some menus, of course, for the breakfast. Underneath we have 2 additional drawers. They're a little bit larger, a little bit deeper. And behind this door, we have the mini fridge, which is not pre-stock, pretty standard mini fridge. Let me open it carefully because I have some wine bottles right there. Yeah, so this is your mini fridge. But this is something you can definitely speak to your room attendant and they will pre-stock it for you for additional fee. As far as the desk goes, as you can see, it's very well pre-lit. This mirror has kind of like this all-around light right there. Hi friends. But this desk also has some charging stations, charging option and points. We have European plug right there. We have regular USB. We have even USB-C. And of course the US plug right there. On the same desk, we have this lamp. Interestingly, the lamp is kind of like, I guess it's glued or attached to the table, to the desk for safety reasons. One thing I will say that I do enjoy the chair, because this chair has actually a little bit higher back, which makes it more comfortable to get ready or if you would like to work on board. Seems kind of like very sturdy, but ergonomically very comfortable chair. Right next to this desk, we have a small, I don't know how to call it, maybe side table, a tray on legs, I don't know. It is full now with some things that I received for Crown and Anchor, but the nice thing about this one is that it can actually be moved around the room like so, and you can basically locate this small table wherever you would like. So if you would like to have, for example, a drink or maybe a meal, on your sofa, you can just slide it right here in the middle and enjoy your breakfast maybe on your sofa. Let's head towards the bedroom area. As you can see, the bed is set for the royal king, what they call. Of course, as always, if you do not wish to share the bed with whoever you're traveling, you can also ask your room attendant. They will separate those beds and put the nightstands in between. Speaking about the nightstands are on the sides. They're kind of like those light, movable, small desks. Again, there's a lot of elements in this room that can be moved around to your personal comfort. They do have 2 shelves. That's very nice. And next to the bed, you can also find this light on the wall. This is also where you will find the plug, the chargeable USB right here. So finally, we can charge our phones or anything you would like while you sleep in. Let me see the other side with you, friends. Yes, I'm so happy. Wow. This side also have charging point. And not only it has the USB, it also has the regular plug right here. So if somebody needs a regular plug for maybe sleep up machine or something of that sort, you definitely have an option here. This one has this nightstand that is actually hanging in the air. There is a space underneath. So again, if you have anything you need to put next to you, you definitely can do so. There's a switch right here, and this one actually turns on the light on your balcony, which we'll explore in a second. But I want to point out the TV area, which is right across from the bed. The TV, by the way, is on the larger side. I would say it's probably about 63, maybe, yeah, or so inch. It's relatively large for the space of the room. So that's very nice. We have this kind of pre-lit frame right there. So it makes the whole bedroom area, bedroom space, kind of framed out from the living space. Even though the space is not too big, but I definitely have the separation for living room and the bedroom. Now, as you can see right here on the side next to your TV, by the yellow accent wall, we have some additional shelving. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves right there. And right where the lowest shelf is, right here, we have 2 additional USB plugs, a regular USB and USB-C. Again, not lacking on any option or, points to charge your personal devices. Now back to the living space area. Again, I do like the art on the ship. It's kind of more pop art style, but it's very easy. It's very light. It gives you this high-end, but not too high-end vibe. Very vacation style, especially when you have like all those leaves, for example, on the chairs. You can see it's very, very nice. Again, personal taste, but I like it. Right here, we can find our closet. This is where the only really space where you can store your closet in this room. Before I open the doors, we have 4 baskets right there underneath. Those are movable, so you can literally take out each of those and basically put your stuff and slide it in back. Or again, this whole option to move stuff around and just stack them and use them the way you would like. Okay, let's go and explore the closet. We have 2 doors, first of which will be right here, a little bit more on the narrow side, but this is a great space if you would like to hang some longer items, perhaps a dress or something of that sort. Very long section, just a hanging with 2 kind of like bobs right there for your hooks for your personal items, maybe a bag or something you want to put. Right next to it, we have additional door. Let me open it. And this one is a little bit, again, shorter because we have, again, those 4 baskets underneath, but it's mostly, again, hanging space. Sorry for my stuff right there. There's a special event tonight, one of the restaurants, which I will talk about later. But yes, this is all hanging space and, well, 1 larger shelf right there for your 1 item, maybe carry-on luggage or a bag, something of that sort. Now, surprisingly, this is not all, because right here on the side, when you enter, we have a very tall mirror. It's going pretty much all the way from the top to the bottom. So there's quite a large mirror to get ready. Hi, friends. But behind this mirror, you can open it, and we have additional shelving. We basically have this shelving unit with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves right there. And this is also where you will find your safe. Now, the safe is a little bit on the smaller side, so it's good enough for your passport, your personal belongings. It's not big enough for your laptops. Heading back towards the entrance, I want to point out those hooks right here on the wall. I usually bring my own just for my small items, but it's very nice to have those here. You don't need to worry about that. If you want to put your bathrobe maybe, or just hang something, that's very cool. Around the door, we have this light. So it's kind of like framing, again, the space of the entrance. I really like the separation of the spaces in those rooms, even though it's just visual, but we have a clear separation between the entrance, the living space, and the bedroom. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and show you what's on this side. Right here, we can find our thermostat. It's one of those smart thermostats, so you have basically preset options for light, morning, evening, movie, sleep, stuff like that. You have your temperature regulation, and of course you can set this to be in different language to your preference, or between Fahrenheit and even Celsius, stuff like that. Now, if I'll open this door right here, this is where your bathroom is. Now the bathroom is initially feels like on a smaller side. This is where we will find our commode, of course. Next to the commode we have some shelving. 1, 2, 3, 4. And right across from the commode, let me squeeze in, we have the sink with additional shelves. And this drawer is additional storage. So right here, you can put additional items. You have one hook right here, and you have 3 small shelves here on the side. The mirror, of course, pre-lit, hi friends. But the space here, as you can see, is not too big. But it actually wins because we have this walk-in shower. And the shower here, it's very, very spacious. I hope the camera can show. But the shower is big enough for you literally to walk in, to enjoy a bench right here. We have 2 hooks here. We have some towels right there. And if well, let's go inside of the shower and I'll just sit on the bench. But this is the space, friends. I'm sitting on that bench right now, and there's plenty of space on the floor. Hello. But yeah, there is a lot of space here. Handheld shower, and of course, this is where we'll find the all-in-one, the Salt and Breeze hair and body wash. Alrighty, let's head out of the shower and go ahead and explore, as you know, one of my favorite spots on every single cruise, which is the balcony. Let's see how that looks like. So this is the ocean view balcony, and unlike a lot of the rooms here, which are the infinite veranda, this is a regular balcony, which my personal preference, because you still can enjoy the outdoors and the views. But before that, I will say it's actually feels spacious. We have 2 armchairs, one right here. We have, of course, the coffee table here, which is actually decent height to be also a dining table if you would like to enjoy it outside. Underneath every chair we have this kind of like leg stool, so you can extend it out and kind of like use it like a chase. Let me walk around. You can see on this side the other armchair for you to enjoy. And this is, by the way, the view right now, as I am still in Port Canaveral. Cloudy, but a beautiful, beautiful day. Well, we're done with the room portion, and I hope you enjoyed that. This is actually my last day of this cruise. It was an amazing week. And as I said before, this video is not really here to share with you everything that this beautiful ship has to offer. Because from my opinion, I don't think it's really possible to see everything that this ship has within a week. The goal of this video is actually to share with you what you perhaps should try or try not to miss while you're here, things you're supposed to, of course, pre-book, and things you should look for and expect for, and just, help you as always making your vacation as best as it's only possible. So first of all, let me try and help you choose the right location for the room. Because the ship is so large, and because the corridors are so long, and there's so many neighborhoods and areas, it really depends what you would like and what you're seeking to have on your vacation. Now, I tried to make a list here of things just to not miss, but the general vibe, I would say you first of all need to decide what usually speaks to you during your vacation. And for example, let's say you are traveling with children, and let's say that you are with the little ones who enjoy the water parks and stuff like that. So that area would be usually towards the back of the ship. For that reason, I would recommend booking the room, the staterooms, which are closer to that area, of course, as close as possible to the elevators, just because, again, it might be quite a long walk. This is a very big ship. If you are an adult-only travelers, I would say that even though that the hideaway is actually located on the back of the ship, as an adult traveler, I would say that for me, I would personally prefer the front area of the rooms, because this actually allows me to be closer to the Diamond Lounge, the Crown Lounge as it's called right now. It's actually closer to the Aqua Dome, and there's very nice bars there, which we'll talk about in a second. So yeah, the front of the ship is, in this particular case, my personal favorite. I also think that the elevators in the front of the ships are a little bit less busy, so that actually can be a determining factor while you will choose your room. So yeah, just decide with yourself what you would like, first of all, to achieve more during this trip, and then try to choose your location of your room kind of to be in that area so you can have more convenient access. Now, because this time, of course, as you see, I did not book a suite. There was nothing of that sort. There was no VIP, amenities or something you use for my other videos. I will say that the balcony room, the one that you see right behind me, was very comfortable for me. I will say that the mattresses, which unfortunately on some ships nowadays in Royal Caribbean are not the best, in this particular case, the beds are very, very comfortable, at least to my taste. I had plenty of room for my stuff. I had plenty of room for, moving around. The balcony feels very spacious, and I actually enjoy the kind of the new design of the outdoor furniture. There is plenty of room to store your stuff, of course, in the closet. I like those baskets, even though they might feel a little bit, like on the lower end side. It's just a metal basket right there in the middle of your closet. But it has its positive sides, because you can actually move it around as you would like. If you want just to put it on the floor, maybe to use it for your shoes, stuff like that, and actually have more space inside of those, like nooks, to put some other stuff inside. So yeah, there's a lot of things in this room that can be moved around, and just to kind of like, to match the room to what you actually need it to be. So that's very nice. The bathroom, I know that a lot have been spoken about that, and it's kind of like, some love it, some don't. When you open initially the door, as you saw, it doesn't feel big, because the space is now literally divided in half. Half of this bathroom is actually dedicated for, your bidet, and of course in front of it, your sink. But you now have a shower, which is a full-size walk-in shower, very comfortable. You're taking a shower, you never touch your sides or anything of the walls. At least for me, that was the case. Only thing I will mention, I wish the water pressure would be a little bit higher, but maybe this is something that can be asked and adjusted. But other than that, I really enjoyed the room. I really enjoyed the layout of it. I like the new decor. It is very fresh. It feels more homey, but still a bit higher end. So great job, Royal Caribbean. This is very, very nice. It's very, very similar to the Icon of the Seas, obviously. But yeah, I really enjoyed being in this room. There's no much to say about that. As far as regular balcony or, of course, the Infinite Veranda, I have not tried the Infinite Veranda on this particular ship. I have tried those on Celebrity cruise ships. Personally, not a huge fan of those. I'm not saying they're bad. It's just not my cup of tea, because I simply enjoy to have those moments, in a balcony on a fresh air. But that's me. But I'm sure that whichever option works for you, whether it's regular balcony or Infinite Veranda, I'm sure those would work great for your family. Alrighty, so let's talk now about something completely different, and it's for the things you can potentially go and pre-book online to make sure that your vacation goes as smooth and as enjoyable as possible. So first of all, the entertainment. You probably shouldn't be told, because you know that there's a brand new production, or actually Broadway musical here. It's not a secret. It's called Back in the Future, and all I'm going to say, it's a full-length show on the very, very high professional level. There are a lot of things you don't even expect to be there. You're not allowed under any circumstances to take pictures, videos, or anything of that sort. If you do see any of those online, they probably shouldn't be there unless it's actually approved by copyrights. But I will say that you definitely have to go and pre-book that online. It doesn't cost anything extra. Choose the day, choose the time that works for you, and make sure to arrive there at least 30 to, I would even say 40 minutes prior, just to make sure that you have seats where you would like to have them. I don't think there's really bad seats in the theater. I personally enjoy to be in the center towards the front, but we all have our preferences. So just to make sure that you have this availability, that you have the ability to go when you would like, make sure and book it online. Same about, of course, the ice show and any guest entertainers they have on board. All those now can be pre-booked. And again, I can't stress enough how important it is to go ahead and book them ahead just to avoid any disappointments of availability and being like too busy. Aside of that, I will say that the ship kind of bringing me back from what I'm used from being a kid when I just started cruising on Royal Caribbean. I think entertainment on Royal Caribbean always was a very big factor because they were kind of like the first, from what I remember, at sea with doing those incredible productions and stuff you normally not used to see when you are cruising. I think we're back on the track here, and it's the same as we are on Icon. The shows are again on a very, very high level. This has to do with everything. It has to do with the production show, with the ice show, of course, with the Aquadome show, the water show, the things, and this is the one thing that I said after every single show I watched here. This is everything you don't expect to see at sea. Literally everything. From, you know what? I'm not going to spoil it for you. But just know that this is nothing you really expect. This is nothing really you think it is. And it's definitely not something you saw before on a cruise ship. Now, another thing that you can actually pre-book, aside from the entertainment, it's an activity, and it's called an escape room. For those of you who actually tried escape rooms and are a fan of those on land, then this is a very similar kind of concept, and now Royal Caribbean has them on most of their larger ships. This ship actually has 2 escape rooms. One is called Escape Dinner, and by the way, if you manage to escape, you get one of those badges that you can put on your bag or maybe a shirt. And another one called the Star Escape. And again, if you escape, you get one of those badges. So yeah, that's very cool. They're not too pricey from how I feel about it. It really, really depends. As you know, online prices tend to change. It goes anywhere between $30 to $40, $45, and it was a true fun. It's an activity for anything between 30 to maybe like an hour, and you are participating in that activity. Depends, of course, on the number of people, but if just 1 or 2 or 3 of you, you're probably going to be sharing the experience with other people. But it's actually very fun, very kind of like, I would say, bonding experience for yourself if you are with your friends or even with people you don't know. So yeah, it is a very cool experience. I highly recommend going online and pre-book those. Sometimes there are no shows and stuff like that from what I saw here on board. Sometimes you're able to just walk in and see if there is availability. But for the most parts, as always, I recommend to pre-book those just to make sure you can experience that. That was very, very fun. Now let's talk about food. Let's talk about dining. And this connects the dining to what you should pre-book or could pre-book online. So first of all, as you know, Royal Caribbean offers those unlimited dining packages, and I'm usually a huge fan of those, especially when it's a longer cruise or when we are on the bigger ships like Oasis class and of course Icon class, because there's so many options, so many different restaurants. I will say that, and again, this is only strictly my opinion. We all have our taste and, preferences. I think that on Star of the Seas, you will be completely fine, even if you didn't book, for example, your dining package. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but let's talk about the restaurants that actually left some unforgettable experience and memory in my head. So first one, and the one that I actually wouldn't miss any time on board this ship, and it's actually both on Star and Icon as well, even though it's on the very pricey end. It's of course the supper club dinner. This is an incredible experience. It's a more high-end experience, and the price can go anything between, I would say, $250 and lower, of course, at least as of right now, per person. But I think that this experience is definitely worth it. If you're a foodie, if you enjoy jazz, if you enjoy the old school vibe dining out or just a night out. Yes, there is a dress code requirement. Gentlemen, you do have to show up in a jacket. If you don't happen to have one, then they will provide you one. Even that's very cool. But yeah, this is a more elevated upscale dinner experience. It's 8-course meal. Each meal is paired with a very distinguished crafted drink, crafted cocktail for it. There is a lot of champagne in addition to that going on during that dinner, and it's all on higher end. The whole dinner is, of course, accompanied the whole time with a wonderful jazz show. In this case, it was a very, very talented band of people from Chicago. It's an incredible experience. Price-wise, yes, it's on a pricey end. It's about $250 or $200. If you happen to have the pre-booked, the pre-dining package, the full dining package, you will get, I think it's about $80 reduction from that price, and you will pay the difference. So it's up to you if you think, of course, it's worth for you having the dining package and have the discount, or just perhaps go online and see if there's a promotion, because sometimes those run online and you can pre-book the specific restaurant for perhaps lower price. My second favorite restaurant on board Star of the Seas is Hooked. Hooked is located here on deck number 15 forward, right next to the Aquadome. And I will say that we all familiar with Hooked from other Oasis class ships, and while the menu is kind of similar, there is nothing really too much new there, we all experienced that, but somehow it feels that both the service and the food itself is actually better here. I can't recommend enough the baked Rockefeller oysters. Those are incredible. Everything pretty much on that menu to my taste was outstanding, very, very fresh. And yes, I have nothing but great things to say about that. And as well, of course, this restaurant can either be part of your prepaid unlimited dining package, or of course you can pre-book it in advance, or again, a la carte. You can just decide here to show up, see if it's available, and then of course you can make the reservation and pay right there. Speaking about Hooked and the whole area at the front of the ship on deck number 15, this is also where, of course, you will find your Aquadome, and there is also the Aquadome Market. Now, Aquadome Market, as you probably heard, it's kind of a new concept to an extension of, I wouldn't call it the Windjammer, but it's still kind of like a buffet or self-serve when you go to different stations and you choose what you would like to have, and then you find your table and just, you kind of like serve yourself. I really enjoyed that place. This is not requiring any additional fee. The stations that were there, at least as of right now, there was incredible crepe station, there was Asian station where you can find things like pad thai and a little bit of Indian food. There was Mediterranean option where you would have different shawarma. There was like chicken shawarma, pork shawarma. You had different salads there. You could do it either in a bowl or in a pita. There was also Latin kind of like station over there. So yeah, it's a very, very nice place to have. I wouldn't say the heavier meal, but for me it was, for example, a perfect spot for lunch. Or perhaps maybe if you have an earlier dinner and you're a little bit snacky towards, the evening later, it's a great spot. I really enjoyed it. The food was really fresh. It was really flavorful and tasty there. And again, the best part, doesn't require any extra charge. No packages needed. It's included with your cruise fare. Now, in the same area of Aquadome, there is kind of new restaurant. Well, it's not a restaurant, it's actually a bar that I haven't seen before in other cruise ships other than Icon. So perhaps this is something that it's a new concept, and I really enjoy that space. First of all, it's a very unique and beautiful space because it's located in this beautiful Aquadome area, and of course the views, and you are in the front. It's very unique and pretty. The name of it, because I probably will forget the name of it, it's called Rye and Bean. It's located again on deck number 15 forward. But the main thing that I actually am excited about this place and recommended it to you is because from my experience lately, kind of like the drinks across the company on Royal Caribbean, I wouldn't say that they are on the higher end. Don't think that this is the goal. I don't think that this is where Royal Caribbean is aiming right now. I think it's more of a celebrity product when they're trying to make more crafted drinks. Ryan Bean is actually that place. They are specializing on espresso martinis. They're specializing on different drinks. that even based on different types of tea, there's actually quite a few options there for non-alcoholic drinks, which are great as well. And unlike other cruise lines that I actually saw before, there are actually cheaper than the alcoholic drinks. Unfortunately, I have encountered in the past where non-alcoholic drinks were cost about the same price as the alcoholic options. So yeah, this place, the Ryan Bean, is actually definitely recommended for trying different drinks or something you perhaps didn't try before on Royal Caribbean. It's a very, very unique spot. Now, speaking about drinks, there's this concept that I feel that Royal Caribbean is trying right now to one of its locations at the pool decks. There is a bar that's called Swim and Tonic, and it is located on deck number 16 forward. This area, the deck 16 in general, it's not really an adult area. However, it's a swim-up bar, which is a very, very unique concept to Royal Caribbean, and from what I remember, I think they're the first one who actually introduced this to the cruise ships. Star of the Seas is trying now a concept where this area is adults only, even though it's not in the back where Hideaway is, it's actually in the front. So deck 16 forward, the Swim and Tonic is now adults only, 18 plus. The drinks there, you pretty much can order anything you would like, but as the name calls, most drinks has gin in them because, you know, Swim and Tonic. So everything definitely has gin, everything has tonic. But again, if this is not your cup of tea, you definitely can order something else. I do enjoy the vibe there just because, you know, it's a pool, it's a water, you're in a cruise ship, and you are in a bar. Come on, what can be more fun? Another thing or another drink that I will highly recommend to try is actually located in a non-adults area only. It's actually located on deck number 15 midship in the Lime and Coconut bar. This is around the pool decks. The cool thing about it, and I'll show you those, each drinks actually arrives in a bucket. So you get one of those buckets, and in this case there were two colors, so you can choose your own. The price of the drink is about the same price as most of the drinks on board the ship. It's around $14. If your friends are Diamond or Diamond Plus or Pinnacles and you have your drinks voucher, your voucher will definitely cover that, and you will even get your memorable bucket. That's very cute. The drink is on a tropical sweeter side. It's Malibu with, I think, some guava and something else. It's very refreshing, very cool, and you get a free bucket, so that's very nice. Now let's talk about the Hideaway. The Hideaway is an adult-only area, strictly for adults only. It's located on deck number, well, the entrance is from deck number 16 and the back of the ship. It is a very, very nice area, and it's called, as you know, Hideaway, and it's kind of, I don't know what is extension of what. Is the cruise ship is the first Hideaway, or the beach, the Hideaway Beach on Coco Cay is the extension of it. But whichever is the first, they both kind of have the same concept. You have an amazing pool, which is actually facing the back of the ship, so it's an infinity pool. You have beds that you can rent, you have chairs that are for free. Most of the area doesn't really have a lot of shade. There is a shade, but the shade is actually more where the bar area is. And in that section, there's only a few beds that can be reserved. But even those, most of them are fully open to the sun. I really enjoy the vibe in that area. It's an adult only, very chill. There is actually a DJ with wonderful music that I really, really enjoyed. I don't want to compare, but I will. I think that area is something that resembles the Virgin Cruises vibe on the deck, only with a better pool. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that area. One thing I will say about the beds. The beds, as mentioned before, they can be reserved. I have reserved them before, and if you ask me if it's worth or not, I will say it's probably a personal matter. I prefer personally to have an option to have some shade. When you reserve those beds, whether you on one of those sides or if you actually chose one of those in the middle, you unfortunately don't have any shades. Your bed is open to the sun, and I had my experience of being pretty badly burned there. But I do think that they come with some extras, and I'll show you that. Each bed actually comes with a bottle of sparkling champagne. I think it's a Moët, but it's a higher end Moët. You also get two commemorative bottles, They look like that. They're very cute. The pink and the Tiffany one, yeah. And basically you have your bar attendant who will stop periodically and check if you need anything. Do I think it's worth? I think that for the money that it cost, I would probably enjoy maybe perhaps an extra bottle of the same great bubbly that they serve there. I don't know. That's my personal preferences. I don't think that the bed price-wise is really my cup of tea, just because you will not see me for hours in that bed, just like, you know, tanning in the sun. I would probably be in the water and I will just look for some chair to put my stuff. The glasses, by the way, those can be purchased anywhere on board. 2 of those were something around, I think, between $11 and $12 for both. So really, if you would like to commemorative glasses, they're definitely there. But regardless, whether you would like the bed or you don't need the bed or you just want to hang there, it's a great, great space, which, by the way, I do recommend to visit it, perhaps if you don't go to the port on a port day, because this is when most people will be outside and that area is going to be less busy. Now, speaking about champagne and bubbles, on deck number 8, there's of course the Central Park. And a new addition that you can find only as of right now on Star of the Seas and Icon of the Seas is a window that's called Bubbles. It is basically a champagne kind of like come and grab and go window. They have quite a nice variety of champagnes. They have Veuve, they have Moet, they have different kinds of Moet, by the way. They even have Dom Perignon. You can definitely use, for example, again, those diamond vouchers, the drinks vouchers you have for the discount on those bottles. But yeah, it makes the whole experience of park a little bit more fun and elevated. You can just enjoy a glass of bubbly and maybe a stroll in the park, listen to some birds that actually you can hear there, watch some very, very nice art. And if you would like to kind of like pair your bubbly with something tasty, again, on the newer ships, which is Star, we have also, of course, an Icon, and the same thing you can find also on Utopia nowadays. They do have the Izumi window. And this is a window where you can basically just approach, get your sushi, get your maybe karage, something to snack on, and just go. One of the additional things they have there is the bubble waffle. This is basically an ice cream in a bubble-shaped waffle. Super, super, super tasty. Every time on one of those ships, I'm really trying to get one of those. And if you do have unlimited dining package, you do have $10 credit a day to that window. So you definitely can do that. One of those bubble waffles would be around $8. So yeah, this is something I highly recommend not to miss if you are in a park. Now, because this was kind of like the first weeks of the ship being full service and, you know, it's the inaugural season, there were quite a few unique things that could be found. First of all, you can actually go to the front desk and purchase this band, which is right here. And this band basically can be linked to your room account, and it extends your room key. So you basically can just tap it on the door in order to open your doors, or if you would like, of course, to order something from waiter service and stuff like that. The cool thing about this particular one is that it has the sign of the Star of the Seas inaugural season, and I think this probably will be kind of like on the rare things and something collectible, very nice to have. They come in different colors. I saw on the other people, I think pink one and purple one. But yeah, those are around $14 if I'm not mistaken, and I think it's a nice commemorative thing. Another thing is that this month Royal Caribbean celebrates their birthday, and for that reason there are quite a few things that they actually provide. If you do celebrate your birthday during this month and you are on the ship, your room key, actually, at least on Star of the Seas, will be different theming. It will actually have a birthday decoration, which is very nice. You will also find inside of your room this birthday pin, which very, very nice, you know, kind of metal engraved, very cool. I really enjoy seeing those. It feels like a little bit step forward. I saw those before, maybe in Disney World. But yeah, it's very, very nice to have that and for people to recognize your celebration to make this day special. And as part of this celebration of birthdays for Royal Caribbean, there's one day along your cruise that will have special kind of like parties. There's a huge inflatable cake that looks and, you know, designates the whole birthday thing. And Royal Caribbean actually hides some ducks around the ship. Those are the ducks. They are being hidden just for this birthday celebration, the birthday bash. But yeah, it's very, very cool. I managed to find one, and yeah, this is something that's really, really nice. So if your birthday is during this month, in the month of September, or even if it's not, I think you're going to have a great time celebrating it together with Royal Caribbean. Well, friends, this was a lot. I know it's kind of on a longer video. It's impossible. It's literally impossible to go through everything. I really tried this week kind of like to make notes and points in my head what I really have to share with you, because there is no possible way to share everything. There is no possible way to experience the ship really within a week. And this is my second time on Icon class. The first time was on Icon of the Seas when she just departed about a year and a half ago. And this is my second time. And both times I have the same feeling that I really wish I had another week here of being back to back. And this is actually a surprise, because with the amount of cruising I'm doing, with how frequent I am on cruise ships, I'm kind of like many times happy to go home and have my rest time and, you know, have this chill and off time. I definitely don't feel it this time. The ship did allow me, despite of her size, to both enjoy a very hype and fun vacation, but also find those quiet spots and have quiet and chill time. If you have any questions, if you have any requests, I'm here always for you to, of course, answer and try to find the answers for you. There will be another video about the ship, but it's going to be around January, because I will be back here in a slightly different concept, so can't wait for that. I will not disclose everything right now, but of course, if you have anything you would like to share or ask me, please go ahead and do that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I want, of course, as always, thank you personally for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully it was useful for you. But of course, as always, until next time, I'm your Hedge.